MYePEAK here. Today we're going to talk about brain health, some brain exercises you could do for that. Check it out. Hopefully you've watched our video on kind of a little small explanation of how the brain, because it would take days of video and you guys would be bored.
Yeah, neurology is an entire medical specialty, let alone a science, let alone a class, let alone volumes of books. So yeah,
exactly.
We strive to try to just bring out the main points, keep it simple and applicable for you.
Yep.
And so that's what we're doing here. So we just did a video on how the brain talks. And how does the brain talk? Left side of the brain talks to the
right hand.
And the right side of the brain talks to the
left side.
Yeah.
And most of us are probably
85%.
Yep, 85% right-handed. So a lot of us are firing our left brain quite a bit too.
All the time, which means it's not that we're not firing the right side, we're just not firing it as much.
Right, exactly.
Because we're challenging, because our brain actually acts like a muscle in that it can be challenged, it can be exercised.
Yep.
Now there's a really, really cool doctor word for that.
I know. You told me about. I didn't even know about this one existed.
Just fun doctor words.
So aerobics is what you'd go for, like running and stuff.
When you and I put our leg warmers on.
When we put leg warmers.
Yes.
And we get physical.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Physical.
That's right.
I like that.
What is this word? What is this word?
Neuro, of course, brain, right?
Yep.
Neurobiotics.
Yes.
It's brain exercises. That's what it is.
If they put a name to it like that, it must be serious.
I'm taken aback by the seriousness of this right now. So
that's how that goes.
But there's an old adage: if you don't use it, you
lose it.
Yeah, and the brain is the same way. Yeah. And so what we're going to do is just give some of our favorite tips on how to actually challenge the noodle up here and be able to let the brain work as effectively as possible.
And a key note to this is when we're looking at it like we do, the holistic part is this stuff is important. But a lot of times we'll put it off as way too simple for actually working.
Yeah.
It's big time.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it could change somebody's life. I heard a stat the other day, with healthcare. They said if people actually drank the amount of water and didn't intake the amount of sugar they needed, or the amount of sugar that we do currently, that would take care of 70% of healthcare flooding diseases in that sense, right? So water and not as much sugar. Yeah. Those are the two. And it was like, you do that, and this is like that. This is very, very much like that.
And you and I resonate with that statement so much. It's just, if only we could get the food producers to resonate with that experience.
Yeah, or us, saying, okay, it is that simple. Yeah. It is that simple, and that's why we just start doing that. So
here's what we're going to talk about when we talk about brain stuff and just making healthy choices. It doesn't take much, but it does take something, right?
Right.
And so just making some healthy choices. Here's what we're going to talk about: is the fact of the matter is if we challenge this thing, it is going to get stronger.
That is correct.
And one of these scariest things, and I know you've seen it, touched it, felt it, I've seen it, touched it, felt it, is when someone's memory starts to go. We, of course, used a word called dementia, but there's other things like Alzheimer's. Now, these serious conditions like Alzheimer's, we're not saying, hey, we got the solution for that. And not that we're even saying that we got the solution for dementia, but research shows that if you challenge your brain, you can slow down or even potentially eliminate the progression of dementia.
Absolutely.
Which is absolutely incredible.
Right.
And so what we were going to talk about is just some ways that you can help develop and increase connections in your brain, challenge that thing like you would challenge yourself in the gym to get bigger, stronger, faster, but a bigger, stronger, faster brain is a lot more valuable than these buff biceps that I have.
Exactly. And the biggest thing, and on kind of a serious note, if I know there's people out there that are going to watch that have actually had a family member in this situation.
Oh yeah.
Think about if they would have had the knowledge that you're going to have after this video of just the simple ways to keep that kind of at bay. Yeah. Imagine the frustration would be a little less. Some of you are taking care of a loved one right now with some major stuff, and you're exhausted because you're telling them the same thing 3,000 times, or those kind of things.
It's the classic an ounce of prevention with a pound of cure.
Yeah, and that's the knowledge right now is this is good.
Yeah, this is great stuff. So what's one of the first things you can do? And you probably even nothing's going to necessarily be brain shattering that we're going to share today.
Yeah, exactly.
That was not supposed to be a pun. But one thing that you probably thought of, heard about is Sudoku. I think that's how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah.
Sudoku puzzles,
so.
crosswords, word
cool.
searches. These are all fantastic things to challenge the brain. And why is that?
Right.
Because they're a challenge.
Yeah. So
right?
let's say you haven't done calculations in a while. Well, Sudoku is an addictive calculation game where you're going, oh my goodness, and you can play it anywhere. You can get books, and when we see it, we smile. When especially our older population, if they're playing it instead of staring at a video of some sort.
Staring at a phone.
I know.
I don't
Except
care.
for MYePEAK. So
I don't
in
care what
MYePEAK's
Justin
world,
Bieber's doing.
That's right. You can stare at MYePEAK all day because you're learning.
Yes, this
That's
is
what-
education.
That's right. So,
But those things they're challenging your memorization skills. They're challenging your recall skills. Those are so important things to do, and we just give that little challenge. It's frankly it's fun. It's relaxing.
Exactly.
And it's a lot better than looking at the same freaking website for the 7,000th time in a day. It ain't gonna change that much. And the more you look at CNN.com, the more you're ticked off you're gonna get. So
Correct.
Just step back and say, hey, maybe I'll do some Sudoku puzzles or crosswords or word searches, whatever. But so that's a great first one.
Yeah.
Another one that is tremendous. Quit relying on Google.
this one's cool. I didn't even think about this one until he brought it up, but I love this one because I do this all the time because I don't have the steel trap brain that Dr. Matt has on the 80s recall that is amazing. So what happens a lot of times though is like he'll do it quite often where he'll hear a song, right? And he'll know it's from a movie, but he won't immediately go where I would go, is where Google. And stick it in there, and then you get all the answers you want, right?
Yep.
He actually will kind of work it through and try to figure it out. And most of the time you're correct, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just let the hamster run up here a little bit, but you got to challenge the hamster. One of the things that we do is we'll be watching a movie, TV show, whatever at the house, and we'll see an actor, an actress, or something pop across the screen, and I'll go, what are they from? What are they from? And then my wife immediately goes to her phone and, oh yeah, they were in this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, no, I wanted to figure it out.
Exactly, and that's the beauty of that stuff, where I had a buddy that could name any football player's number, right? And that, to me, was fascinating, like where he would remember your phone number based on the players.
Yeah.
Like, so he would go, Reggie White to this guy, right?
That's
right. Yeah, so they know this stuff. Like you see that very well with people that do enjoy the history of things. Different sports writers, or they get into the sports history. So find something like that, maybe.
Yeah, but that's tremendous. But here's the counterintuitive thought we're putting in your head right now. Google, while it is making you smart by knowing something in the moment, is actually making you dumber overall.
Yeah.
Because you're not challenging this thing because of Google. So while you might be smart by knowing a bunch of crap, you're not recalling, you're not using the brain. Google is acting as a brain, and if you don't use it, you
lose it.
Yeah.
And you're going to lose in the trivia contests that are around in bars and such, right?
We are.
I'm just saying.
Yes,
because you got to
really
take
our
your Google
goal in
phone
life.
away.
Yes.
You can't. You'll lose. So that's how that goes.
So another great way is take a different route to work. Ask for different challenges at work, and even just pick up a new hobby.
Right.
All these things are going to force you to learn new, do something different, because in the immortal words of Roger Waters and Pink Floyd, our brains can become comfortably numb.
Oh, it's so fascinating.
I think they were talking about something else. They were,
right.
But that's
true.
That's the whole.
But it is, the hobby thing is fascinating to me because there's so many. You have access to so much information on how to do things now. If I wanted to. I did it one time. It didn't turn out very good. My art project was bad. But for a few bucks, you could go take an art welding class. There's no point of me doing that, except for the idea it was amazing. Yeah. It was actually
just learn something new and different.
Yeah, I made an ostrich / dinosaur / yard art thing.
Wow.
And it was fantastic. But
That sounds like it looks nice in the trash.
oh, it's really bad. But all these other ladies had some amazing
but
stuff.
your mom said it was really good.
Yes, my mom said it was good.
Really
so
good,
there
Jeremy.
you
I'm
go.
very proud of you.
My kids, another story. They're old enough now to know not to
be
say
honest.
that stuff. Yes.
Yeah, but so it's just taking a different route to work, just to use these little different challenges. And what happens is we get so repetitious at work that we actually start to get dumber.
Yeah,
Because we
it's
keep
true.
doing the same thing. What's great about our job is every single day is different around here. And
It
so we
is.
actually are challenging our brain because every single moment is different.
Absolutely.
Which is a great thing.
Yeah,
Now,
so
here
true.
here is probably, other than the Google thing, I love the Google thing, but this is probably our favorite one, is challenge the opposite side of your brain. So we
Yeah.
talked about right side of the brain talks, right-handed people are talking more dominantly to the left side of the brain. So when you use one hand in particular, you are always going to be getting that one side of the brain firing a lot, the other one not as much. But when you use your non-dominant hand, you actually fire both sides equally, and you're making new connections in the brain.
So true, and they see it every time. Like the newest data out there, you're constantly making new connections, and so anything you learn new, you're not going to be great at it in the beginning,
No.
but it doesn't matter what age. It does not matter.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. One of the other things I like is, let's say you work in an analytical world, so you're putting number crunching all the time. Well, think of that as like a logic. So maybe going home and doing some kind of art project,
some sort of creative thing is going to help
Exactly.
balance things out.
Yeah.
So, and that's a wonderful point. But how do we actually challenge our non-dominant hand? It's not elaborate. It's not crazy. It's what can we do to challenge our
You can use
non-dominant hand?
you just use it. You can
Just use it.
write with it. You
Right.
could-
So
yeah.
you could try to write with it, and maybe not try to write, Declaration of Independence, but even just tracing your hand is something. Brushing your teeth with your opposite hand, opening jars with your opposite hand, switching up the fork and knife, and doing that. You can go to any place now for Five Below and even get like a mouse for your left hand if you're a right-handed person, and use the mouse. 100% of the time, you're going to feel like a dummy when you first start doing it, right?
Right.
But are you going to be able to learn how to do it?
You are.
Yeah.
So I have a weird situation with me. I have very poor eyesight out of my right eye, but my left eye has been like 20/20 my whole life. So what's funny is, as a kid, naturally, I actually would shoot a gun left-handed and pool. Not that I'm ambidextrous. Don't think that, because there's no part of me that can still do a really good anything with that. But it's that aspect was your body will convert that over, and so now it's just completely natural. Shooting pool is a left-handed thing for me. Very strange, but it works.
But you develop that, and connections were created in the brain, strengthening the brain, doing that in neurobiotics. And that's what we're talking about. This is not guarantee you'll never have dementia. This is not guarantee any of that. But if you are scared to death of it like we are, what can we do to help strengthen the brain? Here's just a few tips, few ideas, things that we can all easily do to just strengthen the brain.
Yeah.
And we got another great video after this one.
Yeah,
What's
we do.
This video?
This next video is going to show us how these different exercises can work into your life pretty easy.
Well, we're actually going to show you our favorite.
Our number one.
Favorite one.
Yes. So stay tuned on that one. That'll be worth it. Click it. Subscribe. Thank you.